And good morning, everybody. Welcome to Casual Coffee with Ken and a special episode, Ken in the Kitchen. My name is Ken. This is my kitchen, which I am perpetually lost in. For those of you new to the show, my wife Karina is an amazing cook, and the arrangement over these last 15 plus years of marriage has been that she cooks all of the wonderful meals and bakes all the wonderful desserts, and I help her eat them, and I help her in the kitchen as her sous chef, and cleaning up all the dishes, because I'm good at that. I'm excellent at cleanup. However, really, it's time for me to learn more about cooking, and so I'm dragging you along for the ride. How special for you. I'm so sorry. But yeah, so I'm trying to learn how to cook by watching YouTube tutorials and just finding recipes that sound interesting and tasty, and seeing if I can actually make them. It's been fun so far. I think I've had fun, and really I'm doing all this for myself, just to give my brain something to occupy it, so that it doesn't dwell on the bad thoughts in my dark, stupid brain. So, thank you for joining me. If you are new here, I can see your comments. So if you're watching, let me know where in the world you're watching from. The main appeal for me of doing this versus just recording videos is getting to interact with you in real time. And I like that feeling of connection. It's weird, right? The way that something like this, like a live stream, can actually give you the feeling of being really engaged with another person in real time. It's something you don't get from videos. We love watching videos. We love all sorts of YouTube creators, but you don't get the same feeling. At least I don't. I don't know. Maybe you do, and I'm just weird. That's not entirely outside the realm of possibility. So today, I'm going to attempt to do a version of French toast. And just so you can see a preview here of, what we'll be working with. Those are brioche hamburger buns. And I figured, why not? Let's try this and see what happens. And there's something a little bit different that I'm going to try with the breading as well. So, yeah, let me do one thing real quick here. Wander back this way. There we go. Now I can see things a little bit better on my monitor. And I really need a cup of tea. So no special tea today, although we do love our teas from David's Tea. This is just regular old Bigelow spiced chai, and it's great. We have recently stocked up on our tea, and we've got some new ones, and I will be featuring some of those in upcoming episodes of the show. So I hope this is all going to work. I guess I will go ahead and dive on in. So move over to, nope. Move over to the prep area. And we'll start taking a look at the recipe again. I apologize for the weird shadows. I'm still trying to figure out a good lighting setup for all of this. And yeah, we'll have to see how that goes in the future. But for now, I think this is good enough. So this is going to start pretty much like any other French toast recipe, I imagine, in that you've got to have a dredge for your, your French toast, for your batter. And we've got to make that. So I have some of the ingredients already pre-made. And my friend Sean is apparently very excited about the French toast. Yeah, I like French toast most of the time, although, and Sean and I have had this discussion offline, I am not a fan of maple syrup. I like maple flavor. I can eat my weight probably in maple bars. I do not like maple syrup because generally it for me, it turns whatever you've poured it on into a mess. So anyway, moving back to the recipe here. I have my crumbs, quote unquote crumbs, right here. And I'm going to combine some of the rest of the things I'm going to need here. So I need 1 egg. So yay, got an egg. I'm going to do that thing that everybody hates, and I'm going to crack it on the side of the bowl because I have yet to ever end up with eggshells in anything. I know that's a pet peeve of people like Elton Brown and Tyler Florence and basically anybody. But yeah, I don't care for it. I don't, cracking it on a flat surface, whatever. Let's see. So we also need a 1/4 cup of heavy cream. So let's get out the good old Pyrex. What would we do without Pyrex? Seriously, it is like the best thing ever. All right, 1/4 cup. I'll do it right-handed because that's the way everything's made for you darn right-handed people. Curse you. What did I say? 1/4 cup heavy cream. And this isn't part of the original recipe. This is a modification. I think it's milk in the original recipe. The original recipe is by a lady named Lorraine Elliott. And I will go ahead and post a link to the original recipe after the broadcast. So I don't need the heavy cream anymore. I'm going to put that back in the fridge. And now we need, so I've got the egg, got the heavy cream. We'll go ahead and pour that in. Okay, and then 1/2 teaspoon of, yes, Ken, 1/2 teaspoon, there we go, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And another modification that I've made is I'm using French vanilla extract because I do love me some French vanilla. So 1/2 teaspoon. Probably shouldn't pour it right over the bowl, should I? All right. I'm not going to need the 1/2 teaspoon anymore, so that goes in there. I'm going to get vanilla extract all over my fingers, and that's okay. Hate Pyrex blew up on me once. Wow, I have never had Pyrex blow up on me. I remember seeing articles about that, maybe a year ago. There was a problem at the factory, apparently, and some were not made up to their usual standard. Okay, so now we've got a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Do I have a 1/4 teaspoon? That's a 1/2 teaspoon. Where? Oh yeah, I used it yesterday. So it's still in the dishwasher, but it's clean, don't worry. 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and for this, we are using McCormick's roasted cinnamon. And it's not just marketing, it's great. It really does add a different dimension of cinnamon flavor. Whoa, that's way too much. Okay. 1/4 teaspoon in the bowl. Okay, and I do not need anything else. Okay, so now I can whisk all of this together. And I guess, unlike batters, you're not really, for bread and donuts and whatever, it doesn't really matter how much you beat something like this, because it doesn't form gluten, because there's no flour in here, so that's good. Although, I don't think I'm going to have to worry too much about mixing this, going crazy with it. Okay, so there's that. And this can now go in here. And let's try to get most of this. Let's see here. There you go. Now you can see what I'm doing a little bit. Most of this out of the bowl. Spatulas, man, gotta love them. Because we don't want any of this to go to waste if possible. But this is also supposed to be like a half-hour show, so I'm not going to go crazy with it. Okay, so there we go. Now, the other substitution we've made here, move this out of the way, move this out of the way, is instead of using cornflakes, which is what the original recipe calls for, this is Special K Cinnamon and Pecan. And it's yummy. I mean, this is a good snack if you're trying to be somewhat healthy, but you want a snack that's semi-naughty. Special K Cinnamon Pecan is good. Okay. So all I did was, the recipe calls for 150 grams, and I just put all of these in a zip-top bag, Ziploc, I can say brand names too, Ziploc bag, and then just kind of used my fingers to crush them all up. So that's good. So now it's time to play with heat. And that's always fun, isn't it? All right, so for this part of things, we are going to need oil and butter. How much oil do we need? Let's see, we're going to need 1.5 tablespoons of oil. And what Karina actually warned me about is I'm going to be cooking a total of 4 buns, 4 pieces, basically, because you've got, the top and the bottom bun, but there's 2, so it's 4. Basically, it's 4. And so what she advised me to do was to put half of the oil in the pan to begin with, and half of the butter, because I'm going to end up probably frying these in 2 batches. So we're going to warm the pan, high end of medium for our stove. So you'll notice in the original recipe, the temperature is a bit higher. Our oven tends to run hot. So instead of medium high, on our cooktop, I'm going with the halfway setting on medium instead of medium high, because it really does run hot. It's weird. And okay, so I'm going to need 1.5 tablespoons of oil, and this is where my math is horrible. 1.5 tablespoons. What is 1.5 tablespoons? What's half of 1.5 tablespoons? This is where I'm kind of stuck because all of my, well, let me see if I can do this. See if I can Google this real quick. I'm really bad at math. I suck at it. Half of 1.5 tablespoons. So that's 1.5 teaspoons. 1.5 teaspoons. Okay. So that's what we'll do. 1.5 teaspoons. So here's, we'll do 1 teaspoon. So I am going to need my half teaspoon thing back. So I'm going to rinse that off real quick. Because it still had heavy cream on it. All right, so here's 1. And then we'll do half. Man, the oil bottle is slippery, so I'm trying not to create a huge mess. There's 1. Oh, God, that's more than I needed. Okay. That's okay. It's all going to be good. And then I've got some butter here. The recipe calls for 25 grams of salted butter, so I'm just going to add, about half of that in the pan too, and save the rest for after. All right, so now I'm going to have to dredge my brioche real quick here. I am bad at the order of operations here. Okay, so here we go. Going to dunk this in there. And going to try to coat this with the Special K crumbs. They're not entirely sticking. I maybe could have ground up the Special K, or mushed it up a little bit finer. Maybe that's part of the problem. We'll see what happens here. Get that in there. All right, so this is the first batch. And now just gonna, and I guess you're supposed to fry these until they're golden, although I don't know how you're supposed to tell if they're golden when they've got breading like this on them, but yeah, we'll see. Because I guess it has to be cooked enough so that you don't poison yourself with raw egg, but you don't want to let it go so long that you're burning the breading, which in this case is cereal, with a lot of sugar in it. Well, maybe not a lot of sugar. I mean, Special K does try to tout itself as being healthier than other cereals, doesn't it? That's okay. So, let's see how this is looking. Yeah, I wish that there was... See, this is where my lack of experience in the kitchen comes in, because I do not know how long this should take normally. Having never made regular French toast, no idea. So at this point, I'm kind of winging it. I don't know. Sean, you've made French toast before, haven't you? How long does it usually take per side before it is quote-unquote done? Not that it matters too much now, because I forgot a timer. Karina, of course, wouldn't know how to do this automatically. It's like she was born with that skill. She puts me to shame in the kitchen, and that's okay because she's freaking awesome. And I get the end results of all that, which is great. Okay, so I think that's probably enough. Yeah, it's getting a little brown on the other side, so I'm going to flip these. And while that's going on there, 2 minutes per side if on medium is what Sean is recommending. All right, then I'm quickly going to come back over here and we will get the rest of our stuff dredged. Man, I probably didn't need nearly this much cereal. I mean, not that I won't eat this later anyway. Because, come on, who am I kidding? Yeah, I'm trying to get it to adhere. And then the last one. I have to say, these brioche hamburger buns are doing a pretty good job of absorbing, except on like this side. On the cut side, it does a pretty good job of absorbing stuff, but not on the bottom. Okay. I will go ahead and call that good there. And then I'm going to move these off the heat before they burn, because I need to get another plate out, because I did not think things through. And that's entirely okay. Put those there. Got this plate here. Close the cupboard, and so let's go back here. I think it doesn't smell burnt. It looks a little crispy maybe around the edge there. Oh, that's a little caramelized. That's the polite thing to call it, I guess. So now, move this back onto the heat. And I will add the second part of the oil, right? Because that's what she had advised. So here is frick? Okay. I am bad at this game. So we've got that, and I'll go ahead and add in the rest of the butter. Yeah, so this is kind of warm again, but that's okay. Slosh that around a little bit. That'll help, I think. Okay. So now, put it on this side first. Sean says it's like 2 minutes per side if on medium, and it's like grilled toast, apparently. Good to know. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate the tip. So, I have to tell you, it smells great in here. It really, I gotta say, I love the smell of all this Special K cooking. Yay, Special K. Really is a good snack. Let's see here. Wondering if it's time. Again, timer. Should have set a timer. That's okay. This is how we learn. Let's see. Oh boy. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I guess the unforeseen problem with this is the amount of sugar that's in the cereal, and this is causing some more rapid caramelization than you would otherwise get maybe with just a regular egg wash, egg dredge. That's okay though. We are not mad at this. I guess if I'm smart, I'm not going to let that go for too terribly much longer. Oh man, yeah. Smells good in here. What's that look like now? There we go. Yeah, I think we can call that done. Move it over here to the plate. And now that I've done this, I'm not sure why I made this much, because Karina is asleep because she feels awful today. Because her Crohn's is just kicking her butt. So let me get my utensils out here, and we will see how it looks. I think this is going to taste pretty darn good. Move this out of the way here, because we're done with that. We are done with these for now. I will find some way to eat those later. And let's go ahead and zoom the camera in so we can get a really good look at what's happening here. Okay, so, oh, it's warm. Trying to get you a really good look here. Okay. Not bad. It's definitely crispy texture, but still springy. Let's cut into it. I don't know. What do you think? That doesn't look too terribly underbaked or anything. I think we let that go long enough. You can really see the Special K bits there. Again, it smells amazing. So, yeah. I guess now all that's left is to taste it. As Emmy Made in Japan says, itadakimasu, which I think is basically Japanese for thanks for the food. I don't know. Karina would know that too because she is a huge Japanophile. Smells great. Okay. This is not nearly as sweet as I was expecting. I really was expecting with the cereal on there that it was just going to be an in-your-face kind of slap your mom sweetness to it. It's not. That is really strange. I can taste the vanilla, the French vanilla extract. And it does taste to me like French toast, but it's kind of lacking in sweetness. I would actually recommend, I think, putting, just sprinkling some cinnamon on it, or maybe some powdered sugar would probably help. Oh, yeah, Ken, I know what it's missing. It's missing whipped cream. And Karina was laughing at me because this recipe really is a study in contrasts. Because you've got butter and oil, but you've got, I'm using light ready whip. And then you've got, instead of regular cornflakes, you've got Special K, which is a healthier, quote unquote, cereal. But then instead of milk, I'm using heavy cream. It's all weird. This is a weird recipe, gotta say. All right, now, work out your camera angles, Ken. Now it has whipped cream. Of course it's gonna taste better, duh. Adding whipped cream to things does not make it taste bad. And what's funny is the whipped cream seems to bring out the flavors of the Special K. Because normally there's a much more pronounced cinnamon vanilla hit on the Special K. And that kind of disappears, except for when you add the whipped cream, and then suddenly that comes out again. I don't know how any of this works. It's voodoo. Okay. I am not going to call this a fail, because I think the concept itself is probably sound. Might need to add. I wonder if you could make a simple syrup and then add that to it after, just like squeeze on some simple syrup, or maybe add it to the dredge. I'm not sure, but if you add whipped cream to it, it's going to be awesome anyway. And the textural addition of whether you're using cornflakes or, Special K cinnamon pecan is good. It definitely is good. And it works well with the brioche hamburger buns. I mean, it tastes just as good to me as any other French toast I've had. And some of you, like Sean, will be saying, well, you just have to add maple syrup to it, Ken, and it'll taste perfect. Yeah, not to me. All right, so that's it. I think we're done for the day. Now I have to clean all this up. I think that's why more people don't cook, right? Because you end up creating quite a mess usually, and you don't always get a commensurate amount of food afterwards. So I get where prepackaged foods ended up, becoming very popular. So anyway, thank you. Thank you for joining me. I hope you had fun watching this. Maybe you learned something today. If only that old people like myself maybe have no business being in the kitchen. That's something we might learn. If you did like it, if you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe and share the video with your friends. Same on Facebook. Can't subscribe on Facebook, but you can follow my Facebook page. If you're on Periscope or Twitch, I have no idea what you do on those platforms if you like content, but do whatever that might happen to be. And I will see you all tomorrow at 9:30 Pacific again. I think I'm going to be doing more cooking. We'll see. Depends on how I feel. But until that time, whatever you're doing to keep yourself occupied during this crazy topsy-turvy time we're in, just remember to be kind to yourself and be kind to others, because kindness matters probably now more than ever. All right. Stay safe. Stay healthy. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.